everybody, welcome to another video. My name is Infinity and welcome to day 21 of Vlogust. If you don't know, I am the face and the voice behind all the content here on Infiniti Crafting Co. So anytime you see that name across the web, it is me. I'm just expanding everywhere. Today I want to talk about something that I don't know, like I see but I don't really see. People who record or do the YouTube thing. Some people will be open and honest and talk about their recording spaces. And I think it's really important to do that because there are a lot of people who aspire to do the virtual personality thing and they think they have to have the most bomb setup in the world to get started, and you know, it could either be very discouraging or you can get yourself into a mountain of debt and, you know, try to swim your way out of it. So today I'm going to be touching on that subject. Let's go way back in history, back to October 1st, 2018, when Infiniti hit that recording button on her Android cell phone. So when I first got started with my channel, I had my LG Volt, I think it was the 3. Was it the 3 or the 4? I think it was the 3. And I had like a $13 tripod off of eBay that came from overseas, and I had my corner space in my bedroom. I was on the floor in front of my bookcases with the yarn behind it. If I can find an excerpt from that period, I will put it to the side here. I did not start out with the fanciest setup, and you know, I made it work. Now at first I was just sitting on the floor and I was like, oh my god, my tailbone. And so, because my floors are concrete. So then eventually, you know, on one of my various Joann's excursions, I went and I got like this what is it? It's a blanket. It's a throw. I've been using it for everything but a throw for so long I forgot what it was. But I had this decorative throw down on the floor to sit on. Eventually I had some really bulky yarn and I made like this little cushion out of it. I've had like a cushion from the Goodwill that I would use to sit on sometimes, and I would just sit down there cross-legged, like crisscross style, and I would talk and do my unboxings and all that fun stuff. All the way up until probably the middle. Well, no, so I didn't do all of my videos that way. I just did like my channel chats for the most part that way, and I did my really big tutorials that way. So like when I did my heart will go on a blanket that tutorial, I was on my floor space, and it was really kind of awkward to do, and it was a tiny space to work in, but I made it work. And so, you know, like I said, you absolutely do not have to have the most fancy setup. You can just use the space that's available to you. Now when I started doing actual stitch tutorials, I was at my desk before I repapered it, and yeah, going back looking at those videos, it's a little bit humbling. I don't go back very often because I'm like, oh my god, how did I record here? And that's one of the fun things when you start to upgrade and improve your space or whatever. You get to go back and look and see what you used to do, and it's just kind of cringeworthy. It's just like art. It's just like art, because some of the drawings that I used to do, they weren't good. But anyway, so that was my deal when I first got started with the whole recorder thing and YouTube thing, and that was okay until it wasn't anymore. But for a while there, I had nothing that I could do about sitting on my floor space doing bigger videos. I think even when I got my first Centro machine, I did that video on the floor. So I was on the floor for quite a while. And then this year, I got access to this other side of my wonderful basement. So, hello everybody, my name is Infinity, and I am the face behind the videos here on this channel. Today is a different type of experience. Today is actually, I'm glad I brought my phone. Today is February the 9th. And so, you know, about 2.5, 3 days ago, somewhere in there, I came into some extra space. So this is actually the other side of my basement / creation space. And I am going to be converting it into an awesome little workspace. So now I have this other side that I slowly started setting up earlier this year after I got off my student leadership conference. I started clearing stuff out, setting stuff up, moving things out of that side and onto this side, and storing artwork and doing all that wonderful stuff. And I wasn't actually going to reveal my recording space until after hiatus. That was going to be my first, one of my first or second videos coming back off a hiatus. And well, what do you know? I got locked indoors. So that gave me time. I know I took that week of spring break, and I just I had everything pre-recorded already for that time span. So I was able to clean stuff, sweep, mop and wipe down. I totally redid this table, which I think I still have the footage from when I did that, so that'll probably be popping up. But we had leftover floor tiles from when I did my bedroom floor, when we redid the basement. And I was like, oh, well, you know what? I don't need contact paper, because as you guys know, I contact papered my desk after a while there. I think it was it winter break? Was it winter break of 19, I think it was. But anyway, I redid my desk. So that marbly look, that white marbly look, was the new backdrop for my stitch tutorials then. And it just so happens that the floor tiles in my room match the contact paper on my desk. And now my craft table matches both of those. So that kind of helped the transition, because like I said, the desk looks the same as my craft table, and so people may or may not have really noticed that transition at first, I think, especially because I had my camera lined up to like one square, so you couldn't really see the lines at first, and then I'm like, who cares, they're looking at the stitching. So that was a fun thing to do, and I'm still very happy with that result. The tiles are removable, so if I put enough force behind them, I could peel them up and totally redo this table should I need to. But right now I am very happy with this, and eventually I am going to get another table as I get into sewing and rearranging this room. Rearranging this room. And like I said, when I first got started, I did not have any lighting. Not good lighting. I have my ceiling light, I have my camera, phone, I have my phone. And it wasn't until about my birthday, I think in November, let's see, October, so it was about a month later, a month and a half, yeah, about a month later, I sat up and I'm like, you know what? And I financed a camera, and this is the same camera that I have been recording with for the last almost 2 years now, yay! You know, I was just like, you know, I really felt like I needed a camera, because I wanted like the quality of my videos to be a little enhanced, especially considering I was trying to do stitch tutorials and project tutorials at that point, and I was just like, you know what, this phone isn't going to work forever, and I'm going to need my phone for other things, and this is getting annoying, pulling the video off of my phone just to go in and record it and all that, but edit it. So that was another thing. So I bought a camera, but you know, you don't just like have to have all the cash saved up. I mean, it's cool if you can save for it, but financing is cool too. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And it took me, I don't really remember when I paid it off, but it took me a few months, and I, you know, feel like I appreciate my technology a little bit more. My camera is my baby. It doesn't really leave my house. Very rarely do I take pictures outside of my property line with my camera, but that's another thing. Until I can get new equipment or extra equipment or whatever, that is my lifeline to my channel. So that's the thing with that. And so I still have the same camera. I slowly over the years have added equipment. So at first I just had the camera and I had the different modes on the camera. Then I was like, ooh, I found this lighting kit, this little battery powered lighting kit, so I bought that and the batteries that go with it. So that's why sometimes I look a little bright or a little pale. It's because I overdo it on the lighting, but that's another story. But I can essentially adjust that to whatever brightness I need. So when I'm doing stitch tutorials, you guys can see what I'm doing well enough, and I can see what I'm doing well enough, especially if I'm working with something dark. It's perfect for those types of videos. Then eventually I realized, you know, I got tired of reshooting my videos because I was out of focus or I was off center of my lens. And nowadays when I am slightly off center, it's usually on purpose. But for the most part, I am directly lined up with that camera, especially when I'm doing stitch tutorials. It got really annoying to have to keep redoing. So I eventually got a field monitor for that. So now, like, when I do my videos and I'm talking and you see me look like down this way, It's because I have a field monitor and I'm making sure that my timestamp isn't running out because of the settings on my camera. I record in a really high definition now, so it only lets me talk for 10 minutes before it's like, okay, shut up, and it clicks off and I have to restart it. So I just like keep an eye on that and just make sure I still look right on the camera, and that's what I'm dealing with now. And you know, there are like other little knickknacks and stuff that I want to kind of get. I kind of thought about the soft continuous lighting, the little soft boxes, but I don't know if I really need those, or if I'm becoming a equipment junkie. But that's another story. I know I am kind of looking into different cameras. I have thought about playing around with Canon. I record on a Nikon. I don't have an issue with Nikon. You know, Nikon is wonderful. But sometimes you just kind of want to buy more than one type of camera, and I'm just like, you don't need it. You do not need it. But that's another story as well. Let's talk about tripods. So I've had 3 different types of tripods in the time that I've been recording. But I have had a total of 4. So the first one, the really inexpensive one that I bought, it broke eventually on me, and I was like, oh my god. It was at a time where I really didn't need it to break, but it broke on me. And I think it's still, you know, standing as a monument out in the backyard, because I used to do my paint pours outside sometimes, and I would record out there, and it's just there. But anywho, I then went on to buy like a Mac trim, which I had been watching reviews on and heard they were pretty good. However, I used mine for a few months, and I think I ended up having to do an announcement because I couldn't record because the leg snapped off of it. It just snapped off as soon as I unfolded it. I didn't put any pressure behind it, it just broke. And so I'm like, okay. So I talked to the person that sold it to me, and they sent me a replacement. But then it was like a solid week or so before the replacement snapped on me, and I was like, okay, forget it. This brand is not for me personally. So I bit the bullet and I bought a Manfrotto. Now I bought the compact version because the regular version is like $200, and you know, art supplies were a lot more important at the time for school. So I bought I think it was like 80-ish, if I'm not mistaken. It was cheaper than the full thing, and that has worked for me all the way until now, and it's still working for me. It hasn't broken on me. It's very reliable, and I've used it outside, I've used it inside, and it's just great. It transports just well. So I really like it. And then, like I said in a video earlier in the month, when I am talking or doing like these podcast type things, I can either look at the lens, or if I'm starting to feel awkward and I want to look away, I can look at the little logo that's under the tripod, and it's like directly beneath my lens, and it still kind of looks like I'm looking at the lens without me looking all over the place apparently. But that's gonna be another video. I might do a video on camera manner a little bit later. It's not a big thing, but it is an important thing, so I think I'll talk about it in a few days or so. But yeah, so hopefully I still have those clips from when I first started getting my studio done. I just wanted to be extra with my new recording space. On that wall, I know you guys have seen in several videos, the wall on the other side of this camera has all my artwork and stuff over there, my beloved leaves, my picture frames with my awards or whatever in it. That's that wall. So sometimes when I want to feel like a reporter or something, I'll stand over there and talk, and then other times when I'm being more informal and just chilling, I'll be over here in front of my yarn shelf. My yarn shelf is right here, and then my my other shelf where I keep my inventory and my packaging supplies and notions and stuff like that is over here. So usually when I'm talking about it or something, I am looking directly over there because it's over there. I bought these lights, and I rarely use them for videos, and I just don't know why. I don't know why. They weren't expensive, but again, I'll probably end up incorporating the clips and pictures from me doing my little renovations in the video somewhere. But I think it's really important for people to realize when they're like first getting into stuff, it's not super important to have the top line of everything. I mean, like, even I've been into this for 2 years, and I don't have like a $5,000 camera sitting up here recording in super extra HD. And look, I have a lamp for my lighting that has no shade on it right now. So, I mean, come on. Let me live. You don't have to be in a certain spot to get started. You're at a starting point for a reason, and eventually, as you notice things, or as you can choose to improve upon those things and make the quality of your content better. But it's like, work with what you have and work within the means that you have, just have fun with it, more so than focus on keeping up with the Joneses, because that can get really, really frustrating and demoralizing, because you're just like, I'll never catch up. And I mean, who cares? As long as you're enjoying what you're doing and you love what you do on the camera, then, I mean, who cares what anybody else thinks? Who cares? It's not that important. Anywho, I hope this video was helpful. I feel like I've been talking forever, and usually I start feeling like that when I'm really passionate about a specific topic. I just keep talking, and it feels like maybe I talk faster. I don't know. But I'm going to end the video right here. I hope this video was helpful. If so, don't forget to leave me a thumbs up if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're watching this on Instagram, don't forget to leave me a heart and go back and follow me, because I will be posting more videos for the rest of August like this. So you're not going to want to miss out on those. If you have questions regarding the YouTube thing, the crafty thing, maybe even the art thing, I don't mind answering those questions either. I know I realized I haven't mentioned the art thing, but if you have questions about like art stuff, feel free to ask me those questions either in the description box below, in the comment section below. Or if you are watching this on Instagram, feel free to either comment or message me. I don't mind either one. Feel free. I love community engagement. And until tomorrow, happy making.